So a note on step sizes. I know a lot of coaches, every coach really says, take big steps, whether it be standard or smooth. And I know for a long time, I thought that meant like every step should be huge. And so I would do like, half a standard routine and I would be out the window being like, yeah, I did my job, taking big steps. Yeah. Uh, it's not quite that. When they say take big steps, they really mean, at least this is what my coaches told me, they really mean take a really big driving step. That's the one where you go out with your heel. Um, Anything that basically lands on a toe to heel is going to be a small step because it's actually very hard to take a huge step. So where exactly does this happen? So at least in smooth waltz, which is what I've been learning, it really, I think this is actually probably true of any of standard and smooth, but basically, specifically in like waltz, you're gonna take generally a pretty big step whenever, or always a big step pretty much, whenever you're in close position with your partner. So usually in waltz, it's that first step. Like for example, in the open right turn, we have a driving step for the one, right? So that will be a big step in that twinkle. And then the second step will have to be much smaller because we're going to go up and then we're going to rotate and come down. I'll talk about that later. But that's a general idea. Anytime you're basically enclosed, you'll take a huge step. Sometimes you can probably take a huge step if you're like in maybe promenade, maybe, but even then probably not that big. But basically when you're in promenade or CBMP or whatnot, those will be smaller steps. Or anytime you are transitioning. So for example, in that twinkle, we talked about the first step is really large as you can make it, one. And now the second one, you're going to go up and then rotate. So when you do the rotation, it's going to be small. It has to be basically a small step. So we'll demonstrate that again. It'll be big, small because you're rotating, and relatively medium size coming out. So that's just a general rule of thumb. I will try to demonstrate where they're big and where they're small steps. Oh, the other thing is that if you are, for example, sorry, that was actually all the leading steps. If you are, actually in this case, he will be the leader. The leader's right turn, for example, they'll be coming, because the lead is coming around as the follow, you're basically in, right, CBMP or promenade. I get those two confused. You can't really take a big step. So that first step can't really be a driving step. So it's going to be small so that the lead has like room to come around. So it's going to be one, right? And then two, three. Okay, I hope that was helpful and not too confusing.